Hello and good evening, THFC till I die. My name's Queen Ellie Hoybier. Welcome to the stream. And today we're discussing our Mark Cousins' favourite player of all time, Gary Mabbutt. Now we have Izhan in the house. He's going to be doing the player profile for our Mark. How are you today, Izhan?
Doing pretty well, especially after that lead result against Chelsea.
Yes, what a great result, hey? That was a really good result. And then Newcastle getting a draw against, unlucky
Man
actually,
City.
not to get a win against Man City. Yeah, well said, Izan, well said. And how are you today, Mark?
I'm very well. I've been looking forward to this show for weeks and weeks and weeks.
True. But you know what they say, great things are worth waiting for, aren't they, Mark?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping first. We've got the patron members, which is Philip Brady, the Godfather, obviously known as the Godfather because of several reasons. We've got Izhan, a young lad who knows it all. He's got all the stats and everything. Then we've got myself, Queen Ellie Hoybier, and we have Leo, a chap from America, not down under, from USA, and he's from the Mile High Hotspur. So without further ado, let's see about the patron members and what you can do to donate. The patron members, there's the link, THFC Till I Die, with the link underneath. Please donate to the channel. It does help us. And then you can make separate donations by doing the PayPal. And there's the link for you in the caption. Okay, let's get started. Right, who have we got in the chat? We've got Paul Beatty. What a guy. Did you know during lockdown he rang hundreds of old Spurs fans to keep their spirits up? Yes, I did know that. Did you know that, Mark?
Over 4,000 he rang. And he even rang Bobsborough.
Fabulous. Yeah, and then Bobsborough had him on his channel as well, didn't he?
Yes, I know. I know. Yeah. I had about 20 missed calls. 20 missed calls and loads of WhatsApp messages saying I was at work.
I remember calling you as well, Mark, to tell you the good news. Yeah. Well done, Paul, for mentioning that. That's fantastic. Now we have THFC Till I Die. What a guy. True Spurs great. He was. What a player Gary Mabbutt was. A true great. And it's fitting that we're covering his career today with Izhan. So without further ado, let's get over to Izhan.
Do you want to know why he's my hero? Do you want to know why he's my hero?
Yes. Just tell us, Mark.
Right, yeah, of course. It was 1991. I was 20. Well, I was coming up 21. And
not even a man.
Well, sort of, a little bit. Well, I'm still not now, Ellen. But so I was 20 and I got ill. And I was took in the local hospital and they found out that I was type 1 diabetic. And that would have been March.
So that
would have been in March. And they said, here we go, you got to inject yourself 4 times a day for the rest of your life now. I was like, oh my God, nice.
That's not good news, is it?
No, it was a bit devastating at the time. But and so I come out of hospital in the March, and obviously in the May, we won the FA Cup.
Yes.
And I knew, obviously, because Gary Mabbutt's a local man to me. He's from Bristol.
Yeah, he's from Bristol, isn't he? Yeah.
It's only 40 miles up the road.
Yeah.
And when I was in hospital, I was sort of led in my hospital bed with a Spurs shirt on, I expect. And they said, oh, you're a Spurs fan.
You do.
All the nurses and oh, you're a Spurs fan. Yeah. Oh, we got Gary Mabbutt coming here. We got Gary Mabbutt coming here soon to give a talk, like in diabetes thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? And I thought, yeah, but he cancelled. He didn't go. He had something else on and didn't turn up.
Oh, right.
And when we won the FA Cup in 1991, you got to remember, I'd only been out of hospital 2 months.
Yeah.
And I was still sort of learning to live with it and what I had to do, and
it
still
must have
trying
been
to sort myself
devastating for
out.
you.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
And as he's going up to get the cup, I think it must be the BBC coverage. The commentator says, "Oh, Gary Mabbutt, he's battled diabetes all his life," and I sort of looked.
I remember that.
I thought, well, if he can do it, I can. You know what I mean?
That's
The man's just he's inspirational to me. He really is.
It's great to hear those stories, Mark. You know,
Yeah,
it makes being a Spurs fan even better, because you see a player like Gary Mabbutt, and he's overcome that devastating illness to inject himself before matches, and then you get it, and you can see that's inspired you to get through it.
To be honest, even if he played for someone else, he'd still be my hero, because he'd done it. You know, well, apart from Arsenal, if he played for them,
you might have forgiven it a slip, hadn't it? Yeah. So what we want to do is find out all about Gary Mabbutt, because what a fantastic player he was for us, our club captain. So let's hear from Izhan, and he can run through everything he found out about our Gary Mabbutt.
Yeah. So,
thank you, Izhan.
Yeah. Obviously, I think it's. Can you guys see the slides?
Yeah,
we can. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So basically made up slides detailing his whole career. It's a long player profile, the longest I've done yet.
Yes.
And, I think it's going to be really enjoyable to go through his career, because this is not just a Tottenham career. This is before as well, and there's a lot of details in it. So I think this one will be very enjoyable.
Lovely.
Should we get started?
Yeah.
This is all for you, Mark.
Yes.
And all the other Gary Mabbutt lovers in the stream. Good afternoon, Wilton McDonald. Good afternoon.
All right, let's start. So he began his career at Bristol Rovers. That's his hometown team.
Yeah.
So he made his first team debut in 1979. He was 18 years old. Yeah, in his second season with Bristol, they were relegated from the second division.
I remember that.
So they started playing in the third division of England. But Gary Mabbutt was still considered a talented prospect. It was actually a surprise that Bristol Rovers were able to keep him after relegation. But immediately after one season, he was bought by Tottenham. After one season in the third division, he was bought by Tottenham for £120,000. That's actually quite a lot of money for.
It was back then.
Yeah, it was back then. It was a lot
for a Division 3 player too.
Yeah.
Not even second division player.
Not even second division. Yeah.
That back then, that was a lot of money. And I guess you can say now in hindsight, it was money very well spent.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And it, Mark.
Yes, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
So at Spurs, he started off magnificently. He got his first ever England call up. He immediately became a regular starter. They were Charity Shield runners up in his first season, and Spurs finished fourth in the league. In I believe 1983, they finished fourth, and they defeated Anderlecht in a two-legged final to lift the Uefa Cup as well in 1984. That is a very iconic piece of Spurs history. I must say.
Yeah,
I remember that.
And Wilton agrees in the chat as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I've actually done a lot of research for the 1984 Uefa Cup. It was actually a pretty wild tournament, to say the least. So, in throughout the first round knockouts, I believe Spurs did they did really well. I think it was against Club Bruges or something. We
Club Bruges.
Yeah.
we basically just actually, I'm not quite sure what the first round knockout was. I do know the second round knockout was against Feyenoord. So yeah, we basically swept them away. We beat them 4-2 at home and then 2-0 away. And in the third round knockouts, we were up against Bayern Munich. We know Bayern Munich, one of the biggest teams in world football. They were still one of the biggest teams in world football even back then. And we lost 1-0 away from home. But in the second leg, we won 2-0 at home. And we actually managed to knock out Bayern Munich, which even today would be a big upset. Back then, it was also a pretty big upset to knock out Bayern. In the semifinals, we were facing Hajduk Split. So similarly to the Bayern two-legged tie, we were down by 1 goal, 2-1 in the first leg, but we won 1-0 at home, and we eliminated them on away goals.
And they were a very good technical team as well, Izhan, Hajduk Split. I remember very well. They were very, very good. So it was good that we defeated them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening, John.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. In the finals, we faced off against Anderlecht. Both home and away legs ended 1-1, but Tottenham won 4-3 in the penalty shootout to lift the 1984 UEFA Cup. It was absolutely brilliant for our club having a European trophy, and it was quite difficult to get it. I mean, beating the likes of Feyenoord, Bayern, Anderlecht, they're not easy teams to beat. So it really showed, what a powerhouse we were back in the day. The lineups.
Because all the Belgian teams were very technical as well, very, very good. Mm-hmm. And they had a good European record.
Yeah, and I was going to say back then, the UEFA Cup was a big thing. It wasn't like it is now. It's like,
Yeah. It's the second fiddle now, but in those days it was top thing to win. Well, so it's like the European. Well, apart from the European Cup, it was the next. It was very prestigious. It's not so prestigious now because of the Champions League and all the money in the game. Yeah, but I remember that night. Do you remember that night yourself, Mark? Do you remember where you were on that night?
Yeah. I would have been 13. So I watched it at home. Yeah. I remember the penalty save at the end. I forget who was the goalie.
Tony Parks.
Tony Parks.
Yeah, Tony Parks, our academy player.
Yeah, he ran off. He ran off, and no one could catch him.
I know, it was fantastic. And then Steve Perriman couldn't play in that game.
Yeah,
I think he was suspended, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But they let him come on the pitch at the end.
Yes,
I remember that very well because you were 13, but you still got good memories of it because you were old enough to remember. Which is lovely for you.
Yeah,
Gary Mabbutt was in the midfield, and Graham Roberts, I believe, was our captain in that game.
Yeah. Graham Roberts was captain that night.
And do you know what? He was a fantastic midfielder as well, Izhan.
Yeah,
he was brilliant in midfield.
He was. So
let's continue.
Yeah, in 1997, it was uncovered that Anderlecht's chairman at the time bribed the referee to fix the second leg of their semi-final against Nottingham Forest, where they won 3-0 after being 2-0 down after the first leg. I believe the referee ruled out goals for Nottingham Forest and gave Anderlecht a penalty, which was quite controversial. And later, it was uncovered that he did bribe the referee. I think it was something like £30,000 or something. He gave to the referee to fix the game, the semi-final.
Wilton saying the Tony Parks final and Paul Beattie. There's only one Danny Thomas. That is true.
Yes.
Yeah. he was badly injured by a QPR player, if I
Yeah,
remember rightly.
He had his
Yeah.
leg broke, didn't he? He had his
Yeah.
leg broke.
Yeah.
By my husband's team's player. Cheek.
Yeah.
Anyway, we won't dwell on that. We'll
No.
keep on Gary Mabbutt.
But yeah, we with Spurs, we could have been facing Nottingham Forest in the final rather than
That would have been
Anderlecht.
interesting.
But it's
Yes.
quite like I could not really believe that this was actually true. But it was. Anderlecht's chairman did
was a
bribe
big
the
scandal.
referee. Yeah, it was a big scandal. Yeah. But yeah, I guess we can move on.
Is that who broke Danny Thomas's leg? Is it Gavin Maguire?
Gavin Maguire, that's it.
Yeah.
See, my husband told me ages ago that he broke his leg, but I've just forgotten the name of the player. Thank you for reminding us there. So what are we on now? Difficulties at Spurs.
Yeah, so after the Heysel Stadium disaster, English clubs were banned from European competitions. I believe Liverpool were banned for 7 years, and everyone else was banned for 5 years.
I think they appealed it though, didn't they? I think Liverpool appealed it, and I think they got it reduced, if I remember rightly. Yeah, if I recall.
So yeah, Spurs finished 10th in the league in 1986 due to losing out on large amounts of revenue. This was also the period of time under Irving Scholar where Spurs' financial difficulties were creeping up on them. We were poorly mismanaged financially in the 1980s. It had poor effects on us in the future. You could argue even today we feel the effects. A lot of fans feel that Spurs, without the financial issues, would have been in a better spot today than we currently are. So
we would have pushed on. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So there was a lot of issues at Spurs at the time, and we finished runners up in the 1987 FA Cup final.
Let's not talk about that. Let's
we're going to slide that one. Slide it across.
I love
that picture you brought up, Izhan. I love the picture you brought up of Graham Roberts and Gary Mabbutt holding the UEFA Cup. Isn't that lovely, Mark? What a fantastic photo.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I like? It's night games when you see the silver cup getting raised. It's so special.
Mm-hmm.
You know, than daytime. Daytime, it's not as nice, but when it's the nighttime, you can see it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. Okay.
So, and Gary Mabbutt had the worst moment of his career. I'm pretty sure he said this in interviews that it was his lowest moment. But yes, we are going to go through it. So
I suppose we have to cover it.
But
just gonna have a swig of whiskey to get me through it.
So on the road to the
evening,
final,
Chris.
Spurs scored 15 goals in 5 games, which is quite insane. 3 goals a game. Not every team can do that. The 1987 FA Cup final is one of the most legendary FA Cup finals. It's regarded as one of the greatest ever games in the history of the competition. In the 41st minute, Gary Mabbutt scored from the King Glenn Hoddle's free kick to put Spurs 2-1 up. But the score was leveled 22 minutes later, unfortunately, where Gary Mabbutt scored an own goal.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It just hit him and went over the goal, over Ray Clements. So we forgive him. Goodbye. We're going.
And it was Coventry City's first ever FA Cup win.
Yeah. And only.
As well. Yeah. It was unfortunately not a good result. With Mabbutt, he scored what we thought could have been the winner, but unfortunately, he also scored an own goal.
Because Clive Allen got us off to a fantastic start in that game.
Yeah, he scored about
quite early. It's in the first 10 minutes he scored, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it was.
Yeah. I tend to
So-
not remember the ones that we lose so well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't worry, there is a good ending to the story.
Nice one.
Here
We like
go.
good
Here
we
we
love
go.
good endings.
Yes.
So despite the FA Cup loss and Gary Mabbutt's performance in the final, he scored the losing own goal, I guess. They did still appoint him as captain. Obviously, he was very good overall. So one performance wasn't really going to they weren't going to drop him after one bad performance. In 1987, he was named the club captain. However, due to significant debts in this period, financial difficulties, and overall boardroom incompetence, there's just too much to sum up in this Gary Mabbutt player profile. It prevented the club from really competing for trophies consistently and performing well in the league, like top 6 finishes, top 4 finishes. So, the debts were around £20 million in 1991, and the club was in a huge state of panic.
Yes.
We were in a pickle, weren't we? We were in a big pickle, as they say in North London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Deep doo-doo.
in the 91 FA Cup, I believe, we defeated Arsenal 3-1 in the FA
Yes,
Cup
we did.
final,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
is one of the best
Oh
results
my
in
God.
Spurs history. I don't think any of us would disagree. It is one of the best results.
Yeah.
In Spurs.
It was the first.
And-
It was the first semi-final that we played at Wembley because there was nowhere in London that was big enough, and so they played it at
That's
Wembley because it had the 100,000 capacity.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if I recall, I mean, that game was bigged up so much before the game, and it lived up to its big up, because it was a fabulous game. Flowing football. Arsenal were in and out of it. We were mostly in the game. But I remember Gary Mabbutt at the end and Gaza.
Yes.
They were the two abiding players that I looked for. Because I was at the match with my brothers. But Mark, was you at that match?
No. But I watched it at home. But you got to remember that year, Arsenal ran away with the league.
They did, and we stopped them from doing the double by beating them, which was absolutely fabulous.
That was brilliant.
Brilliant. I know. So basically, we stopped our rivals from doing the double, which was.
Well, you got to remember. Yeah, I was going to say you got to remember. This game would have been in April. I'd only just come out of hospital.
Yeah.
I'd have been out probably 2 or 3 weeks.
And Paul brought up a very good point. Arsenal had a number on us for a few years. They did.
Yeah.
They were beating us constantly.
Yeah.
So to beat them in that final and so emphatically with a fantastic performance, I was so proud of our team that day.
Yeah.
It was magic. Okay, Izhan, carry on.
Yes.
More to hear.
In 91, Mabbutt walked into his second FA Cup final, this time as captain, and we defeated Nottingham Forest 2-1. Yay. Yeah. And Nottingham Forest, back then, they were a top side.
They were.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
they were very good. Brian Clough's teams were always good. Always.
Well,
had them playing really good football.
To be honest, the whole country wanted Nottingham Forest to win because Clough had never won the FA Cup. The whole country, unless you were a Spurs fan, the whole country wanted Forest to win because of Brian Clough.
Do you know my abiding memory of that match is Roy Keane, because he played for Nottingham Forest then, having a go at Steve Sedgley, and then the camera zoomed in on Steve Sedgley, because I watched it after. I didn't see it on the day, but I watched it after, and he actually said an explicit, I won't repeat it here, to Roy Keane.
Yeah.
Because even in those days, Roy Keane was a hard man,
Yeah.
He was when he went to Man United, he was even harder. But even at Forest, you know, he didn't shirk out of a tackle, the boy.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? But
Who was that other hard defender? The one that scored the free kick when Gaza got injured and got carried off.
It was Stuart Pearce from the
That's
free
it.
kick. What
What a player
fabulous
he was.
goal.
Yeah.
Brilliant
and what a
player.
But
Brilliant.
you notice
Brilliant player.
one of their players shoved one
Specialist
of
at
our
free
players
kicks as
over on
well.
the end of the wall.
Yeah. The thing is, it was Gazza's, like, he was like a schoolboy. He came out, he
went
was all
mental.
hyped up.
Yeah.
And the first
Yeah.
thing he did was kick Ian Wone in the
Right
chest.
here, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was
He
it
kicked
was like
it
right here.
right here,
Yeah.
in the guts, actually, not in the chest, in the guts. Booted him right in the guts. And then within the next half an hour, he
No.
tackle on Gary Charles, wasn't it?
It was only about a minute later. It was only good.
Was it a minute later?
Gaza
You
got
know what?
carried
My
off
memory's going in my old age. But
Gaz-
he did a tackle on Gary Charles, didn't he? Was it
Gaza
3
was
minutes
carried off
later then?
Gaza was carried off after about 20 minutes.
Was it 20 minutes? Bloody hell, was it that quick?
Yeah, it was real early in the game.
I've got to watch that match again. You know what? I've hardly ever watched that match again because I was at the match.
Yeah.
I just can't remember it that well because it wasn't a particularly good match. It wasn't like our semi-final against Arsenal. It was an okay match, but it wasn't particularly exciting. But when Paul Stewart equalised,
well, that's after Gary Lineker. Yeah, that's after he'd missed a penalty.
Yeah. And Dermot's put there all our cup victories. We, up to 1991, we'd won the FA Cup the most. We'd won it 8 times. It was our cup. That's what we excelled in. Because we were never really a league team apart from 1960s and 50s.
He has missed out too. 1962.
He's got 1901, 1962, 1967.
Yeah. 62 and 67. He missed them out. Yeah. Go on, Dermot.
Come on, get your act together, Dermot. Come on. We'll get the cane out later, won't we? Yeah, but the studs on Parker was about 3 minutes in. That's right, because he was so hyped up. You could see he was like a schoolboy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But it's a shame that he missed out on the game, you know, because at the end of the day, he would have lit up that final. He would have.
Although I've always said Naeem come on for him, I think. And
yes,
Naeem
he did.
played well. And Naeem played well.
He played very, very well.
Yeah.
You know. But he's no Gaza, but he done well, the boy. You know?
Yeah.
And he done a good he actually brought the ball to Paul Stewart, didn't he?
Yes.
I think he done a run, and I'm not sure if I can remember, he passed it to Paul Allen, and I think Paul Allen passed it to Paul Stewart, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
Or it could have been him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I should watch that game again.
Yeah. Well,
I keep on watching the 1981 one more.
Yeah.
Because it was a fantastic game, the replay. Yeah. But what was your memories of it, Mark? You know, what was your most abiding memory?
Well, it's like I said, you got to remember, I'd only been out of hospital about 2 months, probably by this stage, by the final.
Yeah.
You know, and I was still trying to sort of come to terms and live with the fact that I was diabetic. And when Gary, I remember watching the game because, like, to be honest, I wasn't drinking or nothing because I'd already seen my dad had a friend and he was diabetic and he used to like to drink and he was only like 60 odd and he died. So I thought, no, that's it. I'm not drinking ever again. I soon got out of that habit, but like,
because of the sugar.
yeah. Well, that's basically what it is. And I can remember Gary going up to get the cup and the BBC commentary saying, "Oh, he's battled diabetes all his life," and it was me. I'd only just got it, and I thought, well, if he can do it, so can I. You know, and it was an inspiration. It really was.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah, that must have been so heartwarming for you to see your hero lifting the FA Cup as well.
To be honest, when I was a kid, like Glenn Hoddle was my hero. But then after I'd been in hospital, I obviously knew Gary Mabbutt had it as well. And he sort of became my hero, you know. He's someone I sort of looked up to.
Yeah, that's
you know?
really good.
You know, I mean,
very, very good.
I mean, because when you were a kid, you always like the people that score the goals and the flair players and all that. And Gary was never like that. You know, he was a hard man. He was a hard man.
Dermot just. Dermot's just texted me that it was the year ending in a 1. That's why he put it up.
I see.
Every time we won the FA Cup, year ending in a 1.
Yes.
Okay, Izhan, let's get cracking. More on Gary Mabbutt, please.
So, basically, in the FA Cup final that we lost in 87 or 86, I believe.
87.
Yeah, 87. Gary Mabbutt scored an own goal, but in this FA Cup final, Gary Mabbutt tried to head the ball into the goal for the win, but Desmond Walker was the one that scored an own goal.
Yeah.
And you know, Des Walker was a big Spurs fan.
Oh, was he?
He was a big Spurs fan as a boy, yeah.
And
I read all about it. Yeah.
Just before that, Paul Walsh hit the crossbar, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did a looping shot, didn't he?
Yeah.
He hit the crossbar. He was very unlucky. Yeah. Howes was marking who?
Clough, I think.
Marking Clough. Yeah, that's right. Nigel Clough. Yeah, because Nigel Clough, Brian Clough's son, played in the final as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. He was a decent player. Very decent player.
He was.
Mm-hmm.
He reminded me of a better Harry Winks, a much better Harry Winks. No, because what I'm saying is because he kept the ball quite well, but he was a better passer of the ball. That's one thing Harry Winks lacks. He just doesn't pass forward enough, sideways and backwards. If he did, then he'd be a much better player. Well, we won't dwell on Harry Winks. We'll get on with Gary Mabbutt.
Also,
don't want to depress our people in the chat.
I just also wanted to mention that so Terry Venables he designed like these baggy shorts for them to wear in the team kit, and apparently there like some people dislike them, some people like them, but later in the future they became more in style. Do you guys like know anything about that? Like, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I remember when they came out. As a woman, right, watching football, I didn't really like them because there was nothing better than seeing a Spurs footballer in the nice shiny shorts, and they are shorts, they're proper shorts, but these ones were like long johns, literally. So I didn't really like them that much, but they did grow on me a little. I think they shortened them slightly because when they first came out, they were quite long. They were nearly down to the knee, which was not very nice to look at, not aesthetically pleasing for us ladies, especially.
Now it's basically the standard. Like now, almost every team wears like the longer shorts under the knees.
And in those days, you could wear your shirt outside your shorts.
Yes.
So it didn't look so bad. But now you have to tuck it in, don't they? But some players do flick it out. Like I saw St. Maximum today. He flicked his shirt out.
Yeah.
He weren't having any of it. They want a bit of freedom when they're running, don't they?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. What did you think of them, Mark? What did you think of the shorts?
I didn't really sort of look at blokes' legs, to be honest.
Okay, move on.
But like, I remember the shirt. That was the first time we wore that shirt, because that was going to be the next season's shirt.
Yeah. I was more interested in the shirt than the shorts, to tell you the truth. The shirt, we had some fabulous shirts at that time, didn't we? Really nice ones.
Yeah, sort of
better than they
early
are now.
90s. Yeah, the Nike ones are rubbish.
Yeah, they are. I mean, with the Holston ones, the Umbro ones.
Yeah.
Even the Adidas ones were pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah. But the one we wore at the final was quite plain, but it had Holston and the collar, which I quite liked because it reminded me of the old PE shirts you used to wear.
And the sponsor
I quite
was
like
blue.
that.
And the sponsor was blue as well.
Yeah,
you know,
we don't want no red sponsor. Come on, Spurs, sort that out.
No, I refuse
What do
to buy
people think in the chat about the red on our shirt? Let us know.
Well, I refuse to buy
the AIA sponsor, the red one.
Yeah,
the AIA. What do the people in the chat? Do they like it? Is it a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Let us know.
I think the majority of our fan base doesn't really like it.
No,
the red.
Yeah, I would say I would see we're going to get a lot of thumbs down.
I won't buy any home shirt because it's got red on it.
Yeah, the only thing I would say to that, Mark, you could spray paint it. Get Banksy to do it for you.
Yeah. He's from Bristol, and he as
can
well.
Employ him. Yeah, he doesn't live far. Go and knock on his door and say, "Can you paint this blue, mate?" Okay, Izhan, let's hear some more about our fabulous Gary Mabbutt.
So basically after this, we kind of know what happened to Spurs after this, after 91, especially in the 90s. So yeah, there was a lot of injuries for Gary Mabbutt, and the club was also we know nearly bankrupted. So but fortunately in 1991, Alan Sugar bought out Irving Scholar for £2 million, which led to a lot of boardroom instability. I remember the Godfather himself was Philip was telling us how we had just won the FA Cup, and before you know it, like the club was almost bankrupted right after winning the FA Cup, which was pretty insane. Unfortunately, Alan Sugar bought out Scholar and paid off a lot of our debts, and did save. So yeah, but in 1992, Gaza, Lineker, Paul Walsh, and Paul Stewart were sold to major financial difficulties, and it was really from that moment on where Spurs were not the team that they once were. Guys would be selling a lot of key players all at once.
Just want to welcome a few people into the chat. We've got Super Tottenham saying evening panel, and then John from the Cheese Room was the end of the Hummel shirt. Paul Beatty, red on the shirt is the dumbest thing.
Yeah,
I agree with you. And then Super Tottenham counteracts that and says red is just a colour. It doesn't matter. Arsenal wear white for their away kit. It's just a colour in my eyes. Okay. Everybody to their own. But I personally don't like it because it reminds me of Arsenal. Anything red. I won't even buy anything red to wear.
Yeah.
No. It's a no. We don't care what they do, Super Tottenham. We're Spurs. We're blue and white.
Yeah. And
sorry, but we had to say that. And yellow. A touch of yellow. Yeah. Okay, Izhan, let's hear some more.
So yeah, after Sugar acquired a bigger stake in the club, he sacked Venables, a decision which was overturned in court. Sugar pursued further legal action, and the decision was reversed. But due to this, many fans called for Alan Sugar's resignation. With Alan Sugar, he actually has quite an extensive history of taking people he doesn't like to court and winning most of the time, or threatening to take people to court.
It's the Lira.
Because he threatened.
He's got the best lawyers.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. Because when Tottenham were kicked out of the FA Cup, for basically we were unfairly paying players illegal pay
Yeah.
raises, I believe.
Yeah, offshore.
Sticking it in dodgy bank accounts as well, I think.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
set up quite a few dodgy bank accounts for the
Yeah.
3 best players in our team to keep them at the club so we wouldn't lose them.
yeah,
That's what I read. Yeah,
yes. So when the
Wasn't it
FA, yeah, go ahead, Mark.
It was like Swiss bank accounts and bank accounts on
Yeah.
like the Channel Islands and all this, wasn't it?
yeah,
Mhm.
something that they couldn't trace. Yeah,
Yeah.
that went a lot of that went on in football at the time.
Yeah.
But it was unheard of because they kept it under the carpet, and it was
Yeah.
only after the event that everybody started to find out, and like undercover reporting and things like
Yeah.
that, like they did with Sam Allardyce when they put a
Yes.
camera on him. You know, same thing. Yeah. So let's hear a bit more about Gary Mabbutt.
Is it frozen?
Jerry Francis years, that was some tough stuff to go through.
Yeah,
Yeah,
during this
true.
period, Spurs
Yeah,
higher than 7th. We were nearly relegated a number of times. There was a
Yeah.
lot of incompetence at the boardroom level. Some people also blamed lack of investment. But
yeah,
so despite our financial troubles, we signed Sheringham for a club record fee in 1992.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he
From
was an
Nottingham
incredible
Forest.
player. Yeah,
Brilliant
yeah,
player. Brilliant.
he was an incredible player.
Sublime.
But considering our financial difficulties, so maybe in hindsight, it wasn't the best move to pay a club record fee. But there is no doubting his quality.
Oh, he was quality.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In 1993, Mabbutt suffered a fractured skull, and that was the season where Spurs were nearly
Yeah.
relegated
Yeah.
as well.
yes.
We had to win at
Yeah.
Bolton. We won 2-0 at
Yeah.
no, it wasn't Bolton. Oldham. Was it Oldham?
Yeah, it was Oldham
I think-
Athletic.
Oldham
yeah,
away.
Oldham Athletic. Yeah,
Yeah, we beat Oldham away 2-0 in that guaranteed
yeah.
our place.
I just remember all our fans running on the pitch
Yeah.
in jubilation. You
Yeah.
know, it reminded me of when the Everton fans run on just recently.
Yeah.
You know, you can't stop fans from running on. It's just passion, isn't it? Football
Yeah.
brings out passion in
Yeah.
people. You know, I know they're not supposed to run on, but you just can't help yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that was a good. It was good that we got Sheringham, but like you said, in hindsight, it sort of made us even more bankrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can remember when we were. I can remember when we were kicked out the FA Cup. The third round draw come up, and it was live on BBC or something like that. And it come up like it was like Tottenham or bye, because you know it was still going to court that we were kicked out. Well, we were kicked out, but then it got overturned and we were allowed back in.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
That was a dark period in our history.
Because we had a point deduction as well. That got
we did
out as well.
We did.
We have 6 or 12 or something.
No, it
I
was
think
first
it was near
12. It was 12
Yeah.
at first.
I thought
Then
it
it
was-
got reduced, but then eventually got reduced to 0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was chucked out in the end. Like, us
Yeah.
because Sugar had all the best lawyers.
He did
Yeah.
have all the best lawyers. Like, it's actually quite unbelievable. When I was reading up on it, he always wins his court cases.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, so yeah, in 94, Spurs were given the points deduction. We were kicked out of the FA Cup for financial irregularities, basically illegal payments to players. And Alan Sugar threatened to take them to court, and the FA backed off very quickly. In the end, they agreed on a fine, and we were back in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
And points deduction was waived. So yeah, it really was a very unstable period. In our history. So like you could see in 92, we had to sell like half our team, and a lot of our best players. Sacked Venables the year after. the court.
Yeah.
Venables took it to court. They said he was unfairly sacked. Alan Sugar brought his lawyers. He has the best lawyers in the business and overturned the decision. Venables was ultimately sacked. We were nearly relegated.
Yeah.
We were kicked out of the Cup.
Oh no,
Venables
it's
took
like
them to
dark
court
times down
for-
at Spurs.
Yeah, Alan Sugar took them to court again, or threatened to take them to court. They said, Sugar, we know you have the best lawyers. We stand no chance. We'll just give you a fine instead. So yeah, and in '96, Mabbutt broke his leg on the opening day of the season.
Was that Man United?
Yeah.
Was it United? I don't think it was United.
I'm not sure who that was against.
I
can remember
I can't remember who it was against. I can't remember.
Someone in the
Somebody
chat
in the chat.
Yeah.
I think the cheese room will tell us.
Yeah.
But Super Tottenham brings up a good point. Once we had sold Gaza and Lineker, we went downhill in the 90s. The football was poor.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you sell your best players, I mean, there is only one thing that can happen. We didn't really replace them. I guess we did replace Lineker. We brought in Sheringham, but
then we got Klinsmann,
Gaza and whatnot.
Blackburn. That's it.
Blackburn.
Thank you, Dermot.
Well done, Dermot. Thank you, Dermot. And the Aussie years were the best years, Dermot says. That is very true. But in terms of what Super Tottenham says, the football, it was poorer than we're usually used to. But there was some highlights, like when Klinsmann joined and we had Nicky Barmby and Sheringham, and then Ozzy and Steve got put in charge, not for very long, because of their tactics, really. All attack and no defence. See, in football, you have to have a balance, don't you?
Yeah.
If they had that balance, they probably would have kept their job, and they probably would have done very well, because Klinsmann and Sheringham would score you goals all day long. Yeah. And Nicky Barmby wasn't a bad little player. He just had a lot of injuries, the poor boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it picked up after that. I mean, I can't remember too many times after Klinsmann, but by the time 1999 came, we'd appointed George Graham, hadn't we?
Yeah.
And then we won the League Cup.
Yeah, I was at that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
That was a good game. I never went to that one.
Yeah.
I never went. I think that was at Cardiff.
No.
It was still at Wembley, wasn't it?
It was at the old Wembley.
It was the one we lost. It was the one we lost that was at Cardiff's ground.
That was against Blackburn.
With Glenn Hoddle against Blackburn,
Yeah, that was Blackburn.
That was a shame.
Yeah.
We'll have to skip on. Let's go to better days. So what more have you got for us for Gary Mabbutt?
Gary Mabbutt
to hear.
Retired in 1998 as club captain. So he broke his leg. He missed the whole season. He came back in 1998. And he retired as club captain. He served us for 11 years, second longest serving player in Spurs history. I believe Perryman was the longest. Steve Perryman.
He's got the appearance. He's got the appearance.
So for 800 and something, 850. Some people say it's 866, and other people say it's 850 something. But it doesn't matter how many. We know that he was our club record captain, with the most appearance.
I think Gary's second on the list, though, with appearances.
Yeah, Gary Mabbutt is second on the list, in fact. Yeah, brilliant. Served us very, very well.
Yeah, brilliant.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, he retired. With Super Tottenham, I would agree with this comment. We brought some good individual players, but never built a good team. Our defense was not good, nor our field. We just had good forwards, which wasn't enough. You could say that of current Tottenham as well. Or
we were always known for a dodgy defense.
Yeah. We really need a creative.
We were always known as having a dodgy defence. The forwards in the midfield, we had some brilliant players. You look at the likes of Waddle, Hoddle,
we could always play. And then later we had Dembele,
Yeah.
And we had
Luka
Wanyama
Modric.
protecting the defence.
Yeah, Luka
Yeah,
Modric.
Luka Modric.
Yeah.
You know, all these
Even-
players, Gareth Bale,
Yeah.
fantastic players.
Even players like Michael Carrick. What a player he was.
Michael
Yeah.
Carrick was a beast.
Yeah.
I think that's where Conte's changed the ethics of our team. Even though he hasn't got the defence that he wants at the moment, I'm sure he's going to strengthen, and we'll hit on that later on in the show.
Yeah.
But I think Conte's getting the right balance between attack and defence. The only thing I
Dermot
would
trying to
say
wind us up
is
here?
that
Is Dermot trying to wind Mr. Burger King the
Mr.
best
Burger
ever?
King, the best ever.
Ndombele himself.
Dermot, you'll have to go back to your typewriter there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, what I was trying to say is that we have to have a balance, because if we get the defence right, we can challenge.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where we've been lacking down the years, really.
Yeah.
We can
But-
have
Gary
one
Mabbutt in our
or
defense.
two brilliant defenders and two rubbish ones,
Yeah.
you know. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
We need a Gary Mabbutt in our defense.
We could
Or
we
do that.
do.
Or a Steve Perryman.
Yeah, you imagine him and Romero, Steve
Yes.
Perryman just in front of them, and
Yeah.
Graham Roberts.
Yeah, Graham Roberts.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
I was
that
just about
would
to
be-
mention his name.
And then
Yeah.
maybe Jan Vertonghen on the left rather than Davis. That would be perfect. Perfect defence. It's a shame they weren't all born in the same era.
And so when
It's
did
a
Gary
shame.
retire? Gary retired in 1998.
1998, just before we won the League Cup.
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and
Because I remember it was Sol Campbell and somebody else went up to win. What was
Yeah.
it? Sol Campbell went up, didn't he, to pick the cup? Yeah.
Mhm.
I was watching that game, right? But I wasn't really that keen on I wasn't really bothered if we won or lost. I don't know. I just had mixed
was there.
feelings because it was George Graham.
yeah.
It was George Graham, and I was thinking if we lose, we can blame it on the Arsenal,
Yeah.
right? But obviously, I didn't want to lose.
No.
But I just had mixed feelings that day. I remember
No.
because I never went to the match, and it was at Cardiff Ground, wasn't it?
No,
Yeah.
no. 99 was at
I'm
Wembley.
sure that was it. Oh,
Definitely,
yeah.
definitely. I
'Cause,
was there.
what was the one? It was Glenn Hoddle's one. We lost Cardiff,
Blackburn.
isn't it?
Blackburn.
Yeah,
that was
that's
at
it,
Cardiff.
sorry.
That's when
Yeah,
they knocked
sorry.
Wembley down.
That's
They were
my
building the new
mistake.
one. Yeah.
Yeah,
But just to wrap up with Gary, now
Yeah.
he's a club ambassador now.
he is
He's-
indeed.
Mhm.
He
He is
deserves
a club
it.
ambassador now, and he's always at the games. And
Yeah.
because I went on there, I was going to do the stadium tour, and you can do like Legends one as well, where you get, and there was, Gary doesn't do many of them, but I was going to go. But by the time I sort of looked to get tickets, they'd sold out. So I didn't go. But I have met him.
It's a
I
shame.
did meet him a few years ago.
I've seen the pictures of you with him.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did meet him,
Yeah.
and what a gentleman he is. And
Yeah,
he does a lot of work for charity as well.
he
I
does.
mean,
Such a good
he,
man.
he phoned over 4,000 like older Tottenham fans. That's why he phoned
Yeah.
Bob Spur, obviously.
Yeah,
And
that was
no,
fantastic.
that was a joke,
on
Bob. That was a
Spur,
joke.
wasn't it?
yeah.
That was fantastic on Bob
Yeah.
Spur that he
Yeah.
came on and supported him
he
and the
phoned over
NHS.
He phoned over 4,000 Spurs fans, and he's
That's
also
fantastic.
he's a patron for Diabetes UK, which is something I
That's
support
lovely.
as well, obviously.
What a great man.
He's the vice
Yeah.
president. He's not just a patron. He's the vice president.
It's
Oh, he's
brilliant.
vice- oh, is he? Oh, I knew he was a
Mhm.
patron.
That's fantastic research, Izhan.
Yeah.
That's why we rely on you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, my abiding memory of Gary Mabbutt is lifting the FA Cup in 1991.
Yeah.
But you know, when he got injured, John Fashanu collided into him.
Yeah.
What a great recovery he made.
Yeah.
And he came back just as good.
Yeah.
You know, to have that was a major injury he had
Yeah.
because he's basically busted up all his jawline, and
Mm.
his eye socket came out of place as well, and they had to reset his
Yeah.
eye. You know,
'Cause he
nearly
came
blinded him.
Because he came back wearing a Phantom of the Opera mask, didn't he?
I like
well, it
your
looked
thing.
like Phantom of the
Ellie,
Opera.
don't mention the name Jude. All right, I will not mention it again.
No. No.
My lips are sealed.
Oh.
I think I'll have to switch off my camera. It's my punishment.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, I won't mention his name, but he had a good career with us, and then he done the Judas bit on us, the sod.
Yeah,
That's
the thing that I'll never
shame.
forgive him for that.
Yeah, we never forgive him for that.
Especially because at the time he was our most valuable player. He was probably our best player at the time.
Or he was our club captain.
And he left on a free.
Yeah.
And he went.
Yeah.
It's not that he left. It's not that he left on a free. It's where he went. That sort of gripes.
That's it. Because
that gripes everybody.
And the way he did it was very snidey. The way he did it. You know, you can't do that when you're a Spurs player.
No.
You know, and he was our captain as well for a little while. Sol Campbell.
Yeah.
Oh bloody hell! I said his name again.
He lifted the trophy when I was there in '99.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm. So basically, we have got some more news to cover as well. But I was just going to ask Dermot if he'd put up the questions that we prepared for Mark.
Oh, here we go.
If you can do that for us. Right. So the first question, Mark, how did you come to love Gary Mabbutt so much? What was it about him that made you admire him so much? You've really covered that one, but you can tell us again.
Answered that. It's due to the fact that I'm type 1 diabetic.
Yeah.
That's why I look up to.
Okay. So the second question, can you recall the first match you saw Gary Mabbutt play?
I went
Can
to
you
loads.
remember?
No.
What was your favourite match that he ever played in? Obviously
the 91 final. That's
lovely.
And probably the semi-final as well, because when the ref blows the final whistle in the semi-final, the camera goes straight to Gary Mabbutt and he's just stood there with his arms in the air, you know. Yeah.
Come on. I know. It was such a good feeling to see your club captain who deserves to go to the final and to do it against Arsenal as well. Sorry,
that was the main
swore.
That was the main, and especially what happened in '87 as well.
Yeah, it was like redemption. It was his redemption to go to the final and to win it as well. You know, it was so joyous to see Gary Mabbutt because he was such a lovely man as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I met him quite a few times at White Hart Lane, and I met him quite recently at Wembley as well. But I was so dumbstruck I couldn't get my words out again. I wanted to ask him so many little questions, but I just didn't get them out. And there was this little boy who was there as well who had autism, so I let the little boy take the limelight, and I stood back. Let the little boy.
Well, I'll tell you.
There was another couple of boys in wheelchairs as well.
Yeah. I'll tell you a true story. The night I met Gary Mabbutt, it was, where was I? Willesden Workmen's Club. It was just advertised on Facebook. A night with Gary Mabbutt, and so I was like, "Oh,
lovely."
Right, and so I bought a ticket, and then I realised you could get VIP tickets where you got a meet and greet with him as well. So I thought, so I got one of them. I booked the travel lodge about 2 miles from there. So I went up there, booked in my travel lodge, went to meet him. And when I went upstairs, because it was in the room upstairs, I walked straight past Paul Stewart and went straight up to Gary Mabbutt. I didn't, I just walked in and I saw Gary Mabbutt.
At that one.
I walked straight past Paul Stewart. I didn't even realise it was him. And I went up to Gary and I said, and there was people talking to him, which when it was my turn, I said, "You're my hero." And I explained why, diabetic since 1991. And he said, and he obviously recognised my accent, and he said, "Where have you come from?" So I told him, and he said, "You travel a long way." I said, "Look, I wanted to meet you. You're my hero." And he'd done like the photos and that with me, and he signed something for me. You know, he gave me a personal photo and he signed. He's such a man. So he had time for everybody. Everybody who went up to him, I mean, let's face it.
Yeah.
If you're a personality and you do these evenings, you must get fed up with just talking to people. You must do. After a while, you think, right, that's enough.
Yeah, I suppose so. But then
Yeah.
they're true professionals, aren't they?
Yeah,
They are for the fans. They love the
What's Dermot
fans.
saying?
Yeah,
Mark,
he's saying,
did you ever
Mark,
talk?
did ever talk to Paul?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Because after I'd walked past him and I met Gary Mabbutt, I turned around and I thought, that's Paul Stewart. I thought, that's Paul Stewart back there. So I went out, I said, sorry, but Gary's my hero because I'm like type 1 diabetic. And he was like, no, that's all right, mate. No, that's all right. And I was chatting to him. And also Eric Torstvedt was there as well. And I met him as well.
Oh, nice one.
He is
Eric
massive.
the Viking.
Yeah, he's massive. He's about 7 foot
I
tall.
think he's 6'4", isn't he?
Yeah,
Eric
he's
Torstvedt,
massive.
if I remember. Yeah, he's tall. Very athletic. Very good goalie, actually.
Yeah.
Very underrated.
Yeah.
I liked him. He was really brilliant at saving low shots, especially.
Yeah.
And then we had Gomez later, who was very good at saving high shots.
Yeah. I remember
really
going
good
to White
at
Hart
low
Lane.
shots.
I remember going to White Hart Lane and singing Eric the Viking.
Yeah,
Eric the Viking. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember singing. That was one of my favourite songs. Yeah. So Izhan, do you remember the Eric the Viking and Eric Torstvedt? Do you recall him? I know you're a bit young, but do you know of him?
When was that?
He was
91.
he was actually a goalie in 1991. Eric Torstvedt.
Well, I wasn't born. No.
Take that as no then.
I know. But I know you look back on players and I know you've got quite a good, very, very good knowledge, not quite a good knowledge on players. But he was a very good goalie, Izhan. Just look him up when we finished his stream. He made some magnificent saves for us. Brilliant goalkeeper. I liked him because he was so athletic looking, very tall and very majestic looking as well. Yeah. Yeah, so Eric the Viking was fantastic. Yes, Paul.
Yeah.
You're in there.
Yeah, he was.
And Jay says, good evening, guys. Gary had a brother, Kevin, who was also a great footballer for Bristol and Palace. So it's definitely ran in the family. Yeah. That's right, Jay. You got it right. Yeah, I remember Kevin Mabbutt as well. Both good-looking boys, both brilliant footballers. Obviously, we liked Gary better because he played for our club. Yeah, but I always remember Kevin Mabbutt. He's a very decent player. Yeah. So we have got some more questions for you. If you can fire them up. Yeah, we've had that one. We need the next one. That's it. When Gary Mabbutt was injured.
Where did number 4 go? Oh, here we go.
There we go.
Oh, there.
How did you feel when Gary Mabbutt lifted the FA Cup for us in 1991? Were you at the match and talk us through the day?
No, well, as I explained earlier, I'd been out of hospital about a month, probably. Yeah. And I was still trying to learn to live with diabetes. And so we used to do this thing at work. We used to pay £2 a week for 50 weeks. Right. So you paid £100 in, and there was £1,500 on the goals. So you'll pick the player randomly. There was £500 behind the bar, which bought a lot of beers. It's only £1 a pint. Yeah. £1 a pint back then. And there was £1,500 on the goals. And so I was with all that lot watching the game. And it's like I said, I didn't really drink because I was a bit scared because I didn't want to like mess me condition up and whatever. But I can always, it's like I said, I can just remember sitting there when we'd won, and Gary goes up the stairs to get the cup, and the BBC commentator says, "Oh, he's battled diabetes all his life," and that gave me a real lift, you know. Thought, you know, because I was still struggling with it. To be honest, I didn't really know what I was doing. I'd only had it a month, you know, and I was still every week I had to go to the hospital to get checked out and have blood tests and to make sure I was doing it properly. You know,
you must be going through some hard times then, and to see Gary Mabbutt overcoming it as well and playing football.
I mean, I had about a month off work, just trying to sort of learn to live to cope with it. You know. I can't
Well, it must
remember.
have been mentally hard for you as well.
Yeah, well, it's just something you got to accept because they told me that in hospital.
Yeah.
They said, "Look, you either do this or you're going to die." It's as simple as that.
Just got to get on with
you got
it.
two choices.
Yeah.
You got two choices. You either do it or you ain't going to be around long.
Yeah. Yeah. And you want to be around long because you want to see some Spurs FA Cups and Spurs League Championships.
Well,
I mean, in my
Jesus.
lifetime,
Jesus.
flipping haven't seen one league title because I was
I'm going to
born
have
in
to live till I'm about
62.
150.
Do you know what I mean? Come on, Spurs, sort it out.
Yeah.
Maybe this will be our year. You never know. We have to strengthen, though. Right, so the fifth question. Right,
Yes, here
when
we
Gary
go.
Mabbutt was injured in an aerial challenge with John
Yeah.
Fashanu, it was big news because of the severity of Mabbutt's injury. Being that he was your hero, did you feel he would recover and come back?
It was a bit dodgy, wasn't it? Because it was Fashanu's elbow, wasn't it? He elbowed him straight here somewhere, or it might have been that one. It was
It's
straight
right on
in
the
his eye
touchline,
socket.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, and because he's got like medical problems in it, I was like, well, you don't know. You honestly didn't know. I mean, when it first happened, I remember them saying, that might be the end of him. Well, not like he's going to die or something, but like that might be the end of his career.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very sad.
So, yeah,
I mean, John Fashanu didn't mean it. He didn't mean it, but he could have gone up a little bit less. But the thing is, when you jump, you generally put your arm up to lever yourself.
Yeah, of course.
And he just caught Gary Mabbutt he caught him with some severity and he just crashed to the floor.
Yeah.
And I remember my heart was in my mouth.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Mark, but
yeah.
Did you ever watch it, Izhan? Did you ever watch the incident at all?
I've seen photos, but
it,
I haven't seen like the clip. No, I've only seen photos
the actual
of
clip.
the aftermath.
Yeah, it's not something that you would watch anyway, to tell you the truth, because it's quite horrific.
Mm-hmm.
And like the camera in those days, they used to pan away from the player.
Yeah.
They had a little bit more respect, you know. Yeah, which was good for Gary Mabbutt, but I just felt I was like really sad because he was such a brilliant player, and I was thinking we're going to lose him for the rest of the season now, and are we going to see him again? That's what was going through my mind.
I can
to
remember
lose such a fantastic player.
I can remember probably the first game I went to after I came out of hospital. Like, it was obviously at the old White Hart Lane, and on the high street there was a little shop that you could go in and get your shirt printed with the name and number.
Yeah,
it wasn't obviously like the mega store they got now. And so I went round there and I had Mabbutt 6 on the back immediately.
Nice one.
And it was tell you what shirt it was. Can you remember the old? It was like a purple colour with navy stripes.
Yeah, I like that shirt.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it was that one.
Beautiful shirt.
It was that one.
And the number 6 being quite fitting because it was Steve Perriman's first number, if I recall. It might have been an 8 later on. I think Steve Perriman went to a number 8, but the first one I remember him as wearing was a number 6.
Gary was
so it was fitting that Gary had it.
Yeah.
And then Jay brings up a nice point here. Wasn't there a story that Gary had part of his foot eaten by a rat that required him to need surgery?
Yeah.
I remember that.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah, that was in 2017 or 2018. I think
recently, wasn't it?
It was in.
Did he fall asleep or something? And a rat was gnawing at his foot.
I think it was something like he was on vacation and he was asleep, something like that, and then he had to go back to UK to get surgery. I think it was something like that.
Well, he had surgery this year, didn't he? He had an operation on one of his veins. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got a big scar around here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it saved his life. A bit like Steve Perriman as well. He had an aortic aneurysm.
Yeah.
That normally kills you just straight like that. But he had a warning. He was lucky. Actually, my husband just recently
Okay,
went for a test because of
when he
Steve
was
Perriman.
sleeping, yeah,
When he was sleeping, you're reading it, yeah? So he was sleeping and the rat started gnawing his foot
So, yeah.
off. Bloody hell.
I was going to say, bloody hell.
Yeah, but
I
that's
was
because
just
No,
about to
mate, the
say,
poor
Gary
man, he's been
Mabbutt,
through enough.
I was
yeah,
just about to say,
he can't feel things in his feet because of his
Yeah,
diabetes. So that's
yeah,
why the rat
yeah,
could just keep eating and he didn't wake up at all.
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, because he has very little
yes.
feeling.
So he gets
Yeah.
Every time,
numbness from the circulation. Yeah,
every time I go for a checkup at the doctor's, I always got to take my shoes and socks off, and they get me to look away, and they sort of prick your feet, your toes,
yeah, that's
just
it.
to make sure
check.
you got feeling, just to make sure you
Yeah,
got feeling there.
and you get your nails clipped as well, don't you? Your
I can
toenails
get
are
it for
clipped
free.
quite often.
I can get it. I can get that for free, but I'm not that lazy. I can cut my own toenails.
Yeah. My mum was diabetic and they used to come every 3
Yeah.
months and clip her nails
Yeah,
because of the circulation part of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Steve first number was number 8, went to number 6 in the 80s. There, I got it the wrong
Yeah.
way round. His
Yeah.
first number was number 8. I thought he was number 6 first, but obviously I got it wrong because
Yeah.
Dermot is the oracle.
I was going to say the oracle was spoken.
Yeah, the oracle has spoken. Wilton says that's what makes me laugh watching present day players rolling around on the floor when they haven't even been touched. Very true, Wilton. They roll around like so many times as well, don't they? It's like they're doing a pirouette as a ballerina, spinning in the air.
Yeah.
Oh, it gets on my nerves actually. Really
it does
does.
me as well, especially when you watch, especially the 60s football that obviously I wasn't alive for, but you see the tackles that was flying in there. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
The players these days
they would just go down, wouldn't they, Mark? They would just go down and be a fella, get up and start playing again.
Yeah.
They might give each other jib with their mouth and that's it, really. Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
I mean, they were hard men then. They were
Yeah.
hard men. Yeah.
All right. There's another question here popped up.
Yeah. It's well documented that Gary suffered with diabetes. Was that something that made you admire him even more?
That's why he's my hero, to be honest, because he brought me probably through the darkest days of my life when I didn't really know what was going on. And 2 months after I'd been diagnosed with it, he lifts the FA Cup.
Fantastic.
And I've said this 3 times, but I'll say it again. The commentator, when he's going up to get the cup, like Gary Mabbutt, he's suffered with diabetes all his life. And I thought, well, if he can do it, so can I.
Yeah. I remember crying. When I watched it back after I came back with my brother Boo and we came home to Tottenham in Beaconsfield Road, Tottenham, North 154SH. I even remember the postcode. And walked into my house and I just watched the match over and over again with my brothers and my dad. My mum was into football as well, but she sort of took a sidestep most of the time because she was cooking for us all the time, looking after the family. But I just remember being so happy for Gary Mabbutt.
Yeah.
Same when Steve Perriman picked up the cup. Although he didn't have a major illness or anything like that, I was so happy for him.
Yeah.
But with Gary Mabbutt, I was even more happy because of the struggles that he had.
Yeah.
And
it was after 87 as well. It was after it. What happened in 87?
Yeah. You felt for him that day.
Yeah.
And to lift the FA Cup and beating Arsenal in that semi-final.
Yeah.
Cracker, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we've got a couple of more questions for you. Where would you rank him in our all-time defenders of our club? Where would you rank Gary Mabbutt?
Oh, Hart says number 1. But
top three, I guess.
Would you put him in the top 3? Who would you put as your number 1 then, Mark? If you're not choosing,
it's got to be Jan
hero?
or Toby, hasn't it? It's Jan or Toby, surely.
Yeah.
Not
Or Ledley.
No,
See, Perriman was
I
like a
always remember
sweeper sort
Perriman
of
as a
defender, wasn't
midfielder.
he? And then a
I
right
remember,
back.
I always remember Perriman as a
Yeah,
midfielder.
yeah.
But he did play center back
He
quite
played.
often
Yeah,
too.
Yeah,
yeah,
he played more right back, didn't he? And then he played like a sweeper role when he got older. He was playing in front like Graham Roberts used to do, sweeper role. Yeah, when they get older, that's what they used to do. They did that to a lot of players when they wanted to keep them
yeah,
in the team. They gave him a more simpler role because playing right back is very difficult, especially the way Steve Perriman had to bomb down and give it to Glenn
Well,
Hoddle
he'd
all
never
the
have done
time.
it, would he?
No, he would never have done it. No,
He wasn't that
yeah.
quick, was he? No, but
No, he wasn't. He wasn't slow, but he wasn't quick. He was
Yeah.
like Kulu's pace, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Like that sort of pace.
Going back to the defenders, I mean, Ledley King's got to be in there. He's
Oh,
got
yeah.
to be. He's probably in my lifetime.
He's on the wind up.
Yeah.
Do you see what Dermot's put?
Yes. Yes.
In the chat, who's your favourite ever Spurs defender? Who would you rank as number one in the chat?
Yeah.
Because my one would definitely be Ledley King and then Gary Mabbutt.
Yeah.
Actually, I might put them joint first because I can't separate them. And then Toby and Jan as joint
Toby,
second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to cheat a bit so that I've got both
Yeah.
of them now. Yeah.
See, Dermot saying Danny Blanchflower, I wasn't even born when he was playing. You know? So,
Okay, we've lost Izhan for a little while, but he'll probably come back in.
Oh,
He's probably going to come back in. His mum's probably shouted him to do the shopping or something.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah, his Wi-Fi's gone, he's saying. Don't worry. My Wi-Fi's going to cut out very soon. So let's quickly cover all the Spurs news. We've got...
I'm back.
That's it, Izhan. Well done. Yeah. We're going to cover some...
The shirt. That's the shirt I had.
Beautiful shirt. I love that shirt.
I love that shirt. Yeah. I don't know what happened to it.
It looked even better on, didn't it? You know, when you see the pictures of it, but when you wear it, it was beautiful because it had that silkiness in it. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I think I might even still have that shirt somewhere in my loft. I'll probably go because I've got lots of things in my loft of Spurs.
Because mine had Mabbutt on the back. I think I wore it that much. It wore out and broke. Well, to be honest.
So Dermot's just brought up some good news. He's got Lazio president Claudio Lotto wants to close on the transfer closed out the transfer window with a new left back at Tottenham, and Tottenham Sergio Reguilon has seemingly become the club's primary target. So Sergio Reguilon seems to be on his way out. That's another one out the door. And
I didn't realise he was still with us.
Yeah, he's still with us. But what I'm concerned about is Conte recently said 1 out, 1 in, right? So if he's saying all the ones that we've had out compared to the ones we've had in, we've had 7 in, but we're only using 1. We're only using 6 of them, really, because Udoji's gone back on loan.
Yes.
And how many we got rid of? We've got rid of... Tanganga's not out the door yet, is he?
Mm-hmm.
He's not. Rodon, Modombele, Lo Celso, now Reguilon, if that one goes through.
Jack Clark as well.
Jack Clark. So that's 5. So we're still not there yet. That worries me a bit. Because maybe the board are thinking we've got to get another few out before we bring one more in. And that brings us on to the Pau Torres thing, that we're after Pau Torres. So Spurs can end summer with a big bang by signing Pau Torres. What do the people in the chat think about that? Do they like the idea of having Pau Torres, or would you prefer to see somebody else in? And how about you boys? What do you think about Pau Torres? Do you rate him?
Oh, I love him. He's an amazing player.
You love him. I've heard you say this. Yeah. I actually do love him as well. I think he's a fantastic footballer, and he can pass the ball very well. He can head the ball very well. He's very strong, and he's played in a Villarreal team that's been very successful.
Yeah.
You know, so okay, they might not have got over the line to get to that Champions League final, but they really did deserve it. It's just that
But
Liverpool
it's
just had a little bit
Villarreal.
too much for them.
The thing is with Villarreal, their town population is less than the seating capacity at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's 50,000
Yes.
people.
Yeah,
City
50,000
of
people.
Villarreal.
Look how passionate they are as
Yeah.
well.
Mhm.
Their
And yeah,
fans are incredible.
And Pau Torres is his hometown team is Villarreal. That's why he
Yeah.
didn't move teams last summer. He said that it was his dream to play with Villarreal in the Champions League, so he would stay there for one season.
Yeah.
Despite that, he did have a lot of offers, including offers from Spurs as well.
Yeah, I agree. I was watching Anderson Palace, great passer of the
Yeah.
ball. Why we didn't go for him a few years ago.
We
I
were
think
linked
they
with him,
looked at
weren't we?
him, didn't they? We were linked with him, but then we
Yeah.
pulled
Yeah.
out, didn't we?
Yeah.
But he would have been
Mhm.
an upgrade on Dyer, definitely.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
most people they know that we need. Most fans want us to strengthen because of Eric Dyer, because of his defensive lapses. You know, we
Yeah.
can't look. If we carry on with the same defence, we're going to get the same result more or less.
Yeah.
Because we
Mhm.
haven't really strengthened in terms of creation of goals apart from Perisic. He's going to give us a bit more. He's already created two
What a game
assists,
he had!
hasn't he?
What a game he had yesterday.
Yeah, he
Oh
was
my
man of the
God!
match.
Didn't he have
He
a
was man
great
easily.
match? You see that's where you see the quality of a player like Perisic. It highlights how weak we are
Yes.
with other players.
I
You
thought
know?
that.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
when we
I
bring in
thought
another midfielder, somebody who can create, and a centre back, and and maybe we give Spence a chance, you know,
Yeah.
because he
Mhm.
can. I think Conte will blood him, but he'll probably blood him in the cup games. I think
He
give him
wasn't
a
even in the
trial.
squad yesterday, was he?
No, I'm not sure if he's carrying an injury, but it just seems a strange one that he wasn't even in the squad.
Yeah. That's
Mhm.
what I thought.
It's a bit strange.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well, we
so
also
I
forgot to
agree with you,
mention.
Paul. Our
Yeah.
creativity is not there because Højbjerg and
Mhm.
Bentancur, they're much of the muchness. And then when Basuma comes on, obviously he's an upgrade to those two. He is. There's no doubt about that. But what Højbjerg can give us, Basuma can't give us. And what Bentancur can give us, Højbjerg can't give us. So it's a blend. I think we need just one more creative in there,
Yeah.
and then we can rotate them, but have that creative player as the forefront of our attacks.
Have you ever seen what Højbjerg does for Denmark?
Yeah.
He's
He's
fantastic for Denmark.
incredible.
He's
He's so
incredible.
creative.
The thing is, he's got a different role from us. With us, he plays more forward with Denmark as well.
Yeah.
He joins the attack a lot more, and he goes
Yeah.
into the box a lot more. But what Conte said to him: stay disciplined and let Bentancur go forward. And if they do switch sometimes, and Højbjerg you will find him going forward, but it's very rare. He
Yeah.
stays disciplined. He's the holding midfielder.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
but we were shown up a bit against Chelsea, weren't we, lads?
Yeah.
That was quite.
Yeah.
It was quite
Mhm.
apparent that we needed
Wolves
somebody
as well, to
creative.
be honest. Wolves as well.
Oh
to be
yeah,
honest. Yeah.
especially the first half. They
Yeah.
It
walked
seems to
through
me.
us.
It seems to me that all teams have got to do is stick three in the midfield, and we're done for. You know,
Yeah,
just
but what
overload
Chelsea?
it.
Yeah, I agree with you. But what Chelsea did, which was very clever, Tuchel, he tucked in his fullbacks.
Yeah.
Right, he tucked them in, and there was a four-man midfield, and then they
Yeah.
pushed on Loftus-Cheek as more or less a winger striker.
Yeah.
You know, and they just ripped us apart. We didn't have an answer because we didn't have no creativity. And then
Yeah.
he brought on Perisic, thank God, and we got the equaliser because
Yeah.
of his pinpoint corner. It's fantastic,
Yeah.
that corner. You couldn't put a better corner than that in. That's for sure. And
And he
I've
took
not
corners
seen
with both
Sonny do
feet.
one like that,
No.
apart from
and
at
he
Watford when Sanchez scored.
Yeah, and he took corners with both feet. 'Cause he took one just before that with his
Yeah.
own foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's two-footed, the player.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
always, obviously his left foot is better, but his
No,
right foot is good as
right-footed.
well.
Paris is
He's
just
very,
right-footed.
very good. All right,
Mhm.
I always thought he was left-footed because he plays on the left, but he's actually
No, he's
right-footed.
right-footed,
Ah, but
which is
his left foot
quite
is so good,
incredible.
Izhan.
He is.
It's
He is.
incredible, his left foot. The way he whips the ball in. Yeah, that's something new I've learnt. That's why we need
Carl
Izhan,
Simpson.
you see.
Good evening,
Carl
Carl.
Simpson. Good
Did you
evening.
see the rumours
Love
about
Carl.
Spence today? He got told he can go out on loan and he refused and got dropped from the team. Don't know how true that is. Yeah.
Wow,
No,
if that is true.
I'm not sure how true that is, because why would we bring him into the team when we just immediately loan him out?
Well,
It'd be a dangerous thing to loan him out.
Right.
It would really be dangerous, because if Emerson gets injured, then we've got Doherty, but he's carrying an injury, and he had a major injury, and he's not fully over it, because otherwise he probably would have got the nod over Emerson, because he was in before Emerson, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he's done very well.
Yeah.
I know he's got his critics, but he's done very well defensively, obviously attacking wise. What I said on another stream, when I was bigging up our stream as well, I said what they should do is just let him get the ball to Kulu. Just pass it to Kulu and then hold your line. Just hold your line.
Yeah.
Or just pass it inside to Højbjerg, Bentancur. You know, don't do anything silly, because he gets criticism then, and he puts it all on himself. Whereas if he passes it to Kulu, Kulu can do a bit of magic, and you know Kulu can cross the ball on a pin like Perisic as well. Yeah. So I think should we call that a day, lads? Wrap up the stream.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Can I just can I just give a shout out? Can I just give a shout out to the South Dorset Spurs?
Of course you can.
Who I met.
People.
Yes, who I met last Sunday, I think. Were we on telly last Sunday? Yes, we were.
Yeah.
The Chelsea game last Sunday. Yes, I met some of them. A great bunch of lads. So big them up.
Yeah.
And I'm going.
Anybody you want to give a shout out to as well, Izhan?
I guess you guys, Mark, you, of course, Ellie, also
THFC till I die.
Dermot as well. Dermatron, the legend.
Dermot, our general sir.
Yes.
And the Godfather, you're missing tonight, but we miss you, Philip. You're a good man. He's out for dinner with his wife tonight. Yeah, his special orders. I hope you have a nice bit of steak as well there, and a nice glass of red wine, old Philip. Yeah.
Carl Simpson put a good comment up.
I want to give a shout out to Chelsea and West Ham for being crap. Well done, Mark. Best comment of the night. Yeah, because Brighton beat West Ham 2-0 tonight, didn't they? Yeah, and that Newcastle, the Newcastle Man City game was fabulous.
Yeah.
And St. Maximin was particularly good. He did fluff up once when he sort of run through the whole of their defence, and then he didn't have any players to pass to, and then he stopped and he made the wrong ball. Players were either side of him. Yeah.
That was right near the end of the game, wasn't it? That was
quite near the end of the game. Yeah. Thank you, Wilton. Brilliant. We've had a good time talking about Gary Mabbutt tonight.
Brilliant.
And my last thought is THFC till I die. We're growing our channel. We're nearly at 600. If everybody in the chat can like and subscribe if you haven't already, we'd really appreciate that, because we're trying to grow our channel. Obviously, we get past the 600 mark by the time the next game comes up. That'd be brilliant. I think we're on 587 at the moment. So any support would be gladly appreciated. And thank you, lads. It's been a good one. I've really enjoyed it. And I think Dermot will take us out, won't you, Dermot? Is that right? I'm not sure.
I don't know. Is he asleep?
To answer your question, Mark, no, I'm not asleep.